Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Masters Korea Season 2. A bit of a one-sided match in the last one.
Yeah, it's too bad because we've had a lot of really good matches throughout the round of 16. I think that was by far the worst one we've seen yet.
This season for sure.
Esperanza.
Maybe even this year so far.
But
hey, let's jump right into the next one. Let's forget the last one. Let's jump into one that has a little more hype around it.
Let's really forget that last one happened, yeah. Tasseling.
Yeah, let's meet Tesang. And Tesang still in school, it seems. So he's not playing as many games as he'd like to. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm really telling the truth. I still study a lot for school, but he's been watching OGN since he was a kid. And so I'm just really happy. I'm satisfied with simply being able to stand on the stage, and that's been the case for a lot of these guys. I mean, they've been growing up with OGN as a pastime for them, and now to be able to stand here is really a dream come true. And so from here on, now that I got to the qualifiers, I'm here just to really enjoy it. In terms of my opponents, Palmblad, I haven't actually been able to play against him quite a few times on ladder. I just didn't have the chance. We didn't run into each other too often. So I'm just really looking forward to getting to play him in the round of 16. And in terms of just what I'm preparing and what I'm looking forward to is, again, I just want to have fun, and I really hope that the fans can have fun watching my matches. So
should be cool.
Pretty good attitude. And now this guy, one of two players who have made it through two of the recent big qualifiers here in Korea, including obviously this one for Hearthstone Masters Korea Season 2, and then the Hearthstone Invent Tournament also had a really big offline qualifier, and only two players managed to get through both of those, Tesang being one of them. And I believe the other one was, in fact, Coco. I'll have to double check that though.
Okay.
Yeah, so Coco and Tesang being the only ones who made it through those two qualifiers.
Well, Coco looked fairly solid last match. We'll see if Tesang can kind of equal what we saw. But he has got a tough opponent ahead of him, Palmblad, our runner-up from Season 2, or Season 1 rather.
Yeah.
Trying to repeat in Season 2.
저는 팔블라드라는 아이디를 쓰고 있고 북한팀에서
part of Team Gatsio, of course, now known as the Coup All Killers. Yep. And what a run he had in Season 1. And also getting...
That smells like Teen Spirit. Wow, Palmblad.
개인적인 사정이 너무 많아가지고
is there anything we really want to know if he has any more special kind of strats or decks that he's been planning? But he really wants to relive that moment himself when he brought out the Inner Fire Priest. So he's always thinking about what else I can bring out that's really unique, that's really fresh to show in on the big stage in big tournaments. But recently he's been very busy, and most likely, I mean, with the move with the Coup All Killers and whatnot, all the players have been pretty busy. They've all been focusing more on just very standard meta decks. And Palmblad just saying, yeah, again in reverse, I also haven't had many chances to play against Tesang, so it's going to be harder for me than playing against someone who I know very well, who I've seen very often. Again, we talked about how Palmblad likes to prepare specifically against a player's certain style and targeting that. And this as well for Season 2. I think I'll be able to practice a lot more going forward in the season. I think I have more resources now. And I think in Season 1 what I learned was this game definitely requires a lot of skill. And in that, among those players, I think if I continue practicing, I can really reach the top and stay there. But at the same time, Season 2, you guys saw in the qualifiers, lots of really high-profile players, lots of very skilled players. So I think it'll be a fun season to go through.
Yeah, Palmblad was definitely one of the most fun players to watch last season. Really brought some unique decks and really did it intelligently too. It wasn't just like, hey, look at this crazy deck, hopefully I can win with it. Everything he did really had a point, and he showed himself to be a very good player. Won himself, a total of 80 points so far this year, so certainly no slouch as far as the World Championship points goes.
Yeah, trying to get that win for himself this season.
Yep.
We'll see if that can happen. He got second place in Season 1 of Hearthstone Masters Korea. And now, before we jump into the game, let's find out what classes these guys brought out. Tasseling and Palmblad. Palmblad saying in the interview himself, I'm pretty busy, so I haven't had a chance to really discover my own style or something like that, my own flavor in the current meta yet. But we'll still see. I mean, there's so many options as we've been discussing in terms of what players can bring.
That's right. So let's see what the decks are for these two players. Tesang, of course, playing Warrior, Hunter, and Warlock in the qualifiers, bringing Warlock, Mage, and Druid today.
So back to the Druids today. All the Druids coming back out. And Tesang, won all 4 matches or games that he played with Warlock and Hunter both.
Well, Druid's still a pretty decent class. You know, again, I feel like we're referencing the VIA game tournament, but it is the most recent big tournament we have to look at, and Druid had the 2nd highest win rate overall in that tournament, so
yeah, I mean,
pretty good results for the class.
Druid never really leaves the meta.
That is true. That is true. Warrior, Druid, and Warlock. I really actually like Palmblad's selection. I feel like that's, if you maybe swap Druid for Hunter, that's 3 of the strongest classes in the game right now.
Yeah,
I think you'd make an argument for putting Druid in there instead of Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I think all 3 are also very stable.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah, you have more to work with in terms of what you have in your hand. You don't have to be too concerned about what else is going to come out. And wow, the fan predictions going heavily in favor for Palmblad, not too surprising. Part of a really high-profile team now, from Team Godzio into Crew All Killers, all of them going together, or most of them rather. And Palmblad, being that runner-up in Season 1, is going to help him a lot.
Well, Tasseling certainly having a mountain to climb here in his round of 16 match, going up against the runner-up from OGN Masters Korea Season 1, Palmblad. We'll see if he can fight it. We'll see if we'll see another 5-game set. We've seen a lot of them already.
All right, the last match of the round of 16, ladies and gentlemen, between Tesang and Palmblad starts now.
Welcome to Hellfire. Druid versus Druid. Tasseling versus Palmblad.
This mirror matchup.
This mirror matchup indeed. So, who gets a bigger board and draws Savage Roar first? Wild Growth in the starting hand for Palmblad.
Ooh, yeah.
Not bad at all.
Oh, wow, but Innervate and Shade on top of a Drake for Tasseling after the mulligan. That's not too bad. And Palmblad really contemplating what he wants to send back. I mean, it's tough when you don't get the coin in the mirror matchup because basically you just have less choices in the mulligan, right? So
yeah,
you have to be very careful about how you go about your mulligan here.
Coin definitely helps a lot. I think he's okay throwing both of those back. I mean, obviously the Wild Growth is a priority. Wrath doesn't generally gain you a lot in Druid versus Druid in the early game.
Okay,
and he ended up with a better hand. Yeah, not bad.
He gets his Shade, he gets his Druid of the Claw.
Yep.
Want to know a funny story?
Sure, go ahead.
Tasseling made a splash in the Hearthstone community because in the round of, in his semifinals in the qualifiers this season, he took out the one lady who joined the qualifiers and made it that far among all 300 players. So he took her down 3-1, and so there was a lot of hullabaloo about that. People were like, "Oh, how could you do that? You beat her, although she worked so hard to get to that point."
The end, the better player has to get through.
Yeah, and well, that's a shout out to me. That's my name written in Korean there, Chobra.
What does the first part say though?
It's a cutie Chobra.
Oh really? You are.
You know, I feel
it's
so weird having to translate those sometimes.
Well, you don't. If I saw a sign that said "Doe is a cutie," I'd be translating that in a heartbeat. I'm like,
would you?
Oh yeah, of course.
You own that.
Of course,
I'd like to see that, Doa.
You need to own it too, Chobra.
All right, thank you. I'll be the cutie pie of Hearthstone.
You can do it.
That's what I'll be.
I believe in you. If you believe hard enough, all your wildest dreams can come true.
Yeah, well, definitely one of my childhood dreams to become the cutie pie of a virtual card game.
Hey, I mean, you've got like Auri to you got the Mergurgler as competition.
I mean, I don't know.
How do you rate yourself?
I'd say I'm definitely like a 9 out of 10 compared to her. I'd say she's like a 5.
Wow. Oh man.
Well, if we're comparing her to me though, that's what I'm saying.
Wait, are we talking about Hearthstone skill or physical appearance?
Both.
This started with you being a cutie, so. All right. Wow. You really did embrace it, throwing down the gauntlet. I'll have to let her know later.
Sure, go for it, man.
I will.
No shame.
Not that I could explain that well in Korean anyway. But.
We'll see how that goes.
So a couple shades down for each of these guys right now. Obviously, Tasseling got a little bit earlier start with his. Can go up to 4 mana. You know, there's probably Dr. Boom, so you don't really want to throw down the big game hunter just yet. It's a bit of an awkward hand, though.
You know what card I miss?
What do you miss?
Trogzor.
Trogzor.
I miss Trogzor. I wish more people used him.
I
Or I
miss
wish
that-
the meta just embraced him more is, I guess, the right way to put it.
I miss that rogue card that let you just like pay really cheap mana and draw a bunch of cards. That wasn't sprint. What was it? I can't remember the name of it now.
I'm not sure which card you're speaking of.
There was a rogue card that was really cheap. It was really cheap draw, and they removed it in beta early on. It only it was only in the game for like a month or two.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I see. Oh, I thought we were talking about like recent cards that we just don't see anymore. But okay.
I miss 5 mana Sylvanas too.
Yeah.
That was a bit strong.
I miss Infinite Headcrack being the way to play Rogue.
Yeah, right, man.
Spell power Headcrack.
Infinite head crack, dude.
Oh, so good.
All right, so we've got a 5/5 now. And looks to be able to innervate out that Sylvanas. Or does he? Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Oftentimes getting that out early in the Druid Mirror is not bad at all. I mean, sure, you have the keepers, but that's about the only best way to deal with it.
Well, Thorazin is a bit awkward here now. You know, it would be on curve, but you may not quite be able to do it.
Oh, this is tough.
It is, because, I mean, you could Wrath for the cycle and then swipe Sylvanas to finish her off and kind of, like, see what you give him, I guess. But then that would put you having to deal with either a 4/6 or a 4/4.
If you give the shade there, though, like,
I
so
know,
bad.
right? This Sylvanas is causing a lot of problems for Palmblad right now, actually.
Okay.
You know, oh, and
I think
where
maybe you just start going face. Oh, well, I mean, oof.
well, I mean, yeah, I think so, because you don't want to give him a stealth shade, right?
Yeah.
So,
But because it's 4 health, that's the part that hurts a little bit.
well, you could just run both of them into Sylvanas. If you really didn't want to deal
You
with it.
could.
You could.
You could. And then you
then-
could swipe the face, though.
Exactly, yeah. You could swipe something, but yeah, I think you just flood the board here.
Yeah, I think this is just, you just got to put more stuff down
Yeah.
and hope that he gets the lesser of the evils here. And then you just start going at it, because this way, at least, if you draw into a Savage Roar, you could potentially finish the game anytime.
True enough.
Now, because of that swipe, though, I think the biggest concern there was that your Shade is sitting at 4 health right now, so if Sylvanas runs into the Druid of the Claw, it's a really good swipe, and you just get, you know what you're going to get. It's the Piloted Shredder, and that's a pretty good card to get, too.
Sure.
And Tasseling has that option right now. He has a swipe in hand. Now, he has other plays to make on curve, though, so Tasseling just running through his options a little bit here. No big reason to rush the whole clear here, but I mean, when you can get rid of the shade, I think sometimes it's fine to kind of prioritize that. But okay, he's just gonna use it. All right, so that's how he's gonna get rid of it. That's fine too. That was the idea.
That was good board clear.
Yeah, still a swipe-proof board because of the Death Rattle and the fact that the shade is 2 health.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah, you can give him a ship's cannon
man.
if you want to.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, now you can. Okay, it's not the worst. You have the Wrath too to get rid of the ship's cannon, so you would only be left with the Sludge.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I mean, given in light of the situation, it's not too bad. It's not bad at all.
And that's what he's going to do. Yeah, so only leaving his opponent with that 1/2.
Yeah, and so Tasseling, I mean, not the happiest of moments right now.
No, I can think of happier moments he's probably had in Hearthstone.
You mean like innervate Doris?
Yeah, that's right, that helps too. All right, so 6 mana, potentially 7 here. I kind of feel compelled to just go with the draw off the Azure Drake this turn and see what you get.
Because, I mean, yeah, you can sit there with the Druid of the Claw, but I prefer the Drake. I'm with you, man. Just open up more options for yourself in the next turns.
Yeah, I agree too, because you don't, I mean, you're probably always going to play that Druid of the Claw in taunt form, right? But you never know. There are situations where you want to play a charge. So by playing it now instead of the Azure Drake and drawing a card, you're right. I think it's just kind of about what options you give yourself later in the game.
Palmblad also going for double combo.
Well,
no scenarios.
I bet he wishes he would have played the Azure Drake now. Would have been a pretty easy swipe if he had.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the taunt there for the Druid of the Claw was a little bit. It was just too quiet, you know.
Mistakes
it didn't really,
were made.
Yeah, it didn't serve any big purposes there. Anyway,
Because I mean,
that's
now,
what I think.
you know, now you Azure Drake and you're like, well, gee, I hope I draw an Innervate. Because there's not a lot of other great turns for him.
You know, you can swipe and you can use your sludge to get rid of it.
Yeah, you can.
That's fine. It's not the worst, but like you said, the Drake would have been a much more ideal play leading into this turn.
Yeah, sure would have.
So now, but if you swipe, the other concern is, I mean, you don't really have anything other to do other than the hero power. Because the wild growth at this point is a little iffy to use. You might as well try to save it for a draw.
I mean, you've still got a 4-5 on the board. You're still going to be bringing him down to 21 this turn. So it's not the end of the world. Well, you're going to be bringing him down to 20, I suppose, if you hero power.
And he's just going to use his hero. Okay, he's going to use his hero to get rid of that, really preferring to keep those minions alive because he's got that Savage Roar in hand. So,
yep.
I like that.
I mean, he's putting himself in the position where if he draws into the combo, he just wins. So.
Oh, and points out the wild growth to make sure that if he draws, yeah, like you said, if he draws in Force of Nature.
Yep, that's right.
It's a guaranteed kill.
So we can see Force of Nature and Druid of the Claw this turn. So it could be he could clear the board, and he would have a Force of Nature, or no, he would have a Druid of the Claw left over.
He would have the Force of Nature with him. Yeah, no, I think just going here.
And then you just hero power to kill the 4/1.
Yeah, I think he's contemplating, but I think this is safer because you would have to use the Innervate 2 there. Not that it really matters at this point with only 2 cards, but then you would bring yourself down to brought yourself down to what, 16, and that would have been pretty dangerous. So
yeah, well, you're still not dead to the combo, but
never know what else they might have, man.
Innervate combo.
Yeah,
Innervate double Savage Roar. You can't do that in turn.
Well, but then you would have, so then I guess you could have charged your Druid and gotten rid of the sludge, and that would have, yeah, you're right, you would have prevented lethal for one more turn.
You would have used the final Force of Nature tree to kill the sludge, and then hero power.
Right, yeah, if you use hero power, that's what you would do.
You would have had to use the Innervate, but you would have the 4/6 out.
Okay, all right.
And we'll see if it ends up mattering.
Right, yeah, I mean, it really depends on how things play out, but yours creates a little more ideal plays in the future for Palmblad, whereas this is a little bit safer, I guess one could argue.
Safer, but is it playing to win, Chober?
Right, that's always the big question.
Yep.
Well, this one's a little bit harder to tell than in our previous match where it was pretty apparent, so.
I think I really feel like if you fall behind in a board-based mirror match like this, you really have to start taking risks, you know?
Well, he can draw here.
Can he draw into the combo, though? No. That Pile to Shredder is not a bad draw at all.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Now, ooh.
Yeah, because if you run into the sludge, then you get cleared by the Ancient of Lore.
But, you know, the only way to prevent that is the Savage Roar, so he's going to do it.
Okay. Well, he gets a little bit of damage onto his opponent.
Okay.
And he can, well, I mean, he could decide to clear the Ancient of Lore with his Druid of the Claw as well, I suppose.
I think you just go face.
I like going face, too. I agree. I think, again, you know, you have to take the initiative at some point. You know, in every game you play, in every Druid matchup, there's a point in the game where you have to become the aggressor.
Yeah. Because if you attack into it, you're just asking for the second swipe or a Wrath or even just a hero power.
Yeah.
Just too many easy ways to clear it. Oh, Palmblad going for the more reserved play, which is probably not the greatest.
Ooh, so does he want to Black Knight it, or does he want to cycle?
You know, if I'm Tasang, I cycle it. Although, I guess you don't have too many...
You could cycle Lotheb.
Oh, okay, actually... Did we see both Druids of the Claws from Palmblad? Yes. Right?
I can't remember.
Ooh, actually, maybe not.
I don't believe... I think that was the only one. I could be wrong, though, honestly. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So... Well, Now... Because if he uses Black Knight, then he uses Wrath for the Shredder, but...
Yeah, that's solid, too.
I think you just use the Wrath for the Shredder anyway, actually, because it is 3 health. You can, worst case, you can hero power that,
Oh, no, Vitality Totem. Well, that changes things a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to live for a turn.
Interesting.
So it's going to get you some nice health back for Palmblad. And that's a pretty big swing in a mirror matchup. Now, granted, Tasang still has a massive hand advantage here.
I think you can still Black Knight this as
I
well,
think
because
you do.
there's not really going to be any other taunts to get rid of in the deck besides the Druids of the Claw, so
I don't think
Black Knight Hero Power.
I don't think you risk the Hero Power on the Druid.
It sets you up with a swipe-proof plan to take out the Vitality Totem the next turn as well, too. I suppose Lothep...
I mean, the difference
Lothep
is you take a big hit to the face, but at the same time, you're preventing the combo, so okay.
Well, if your opponent has a combo in his hand, you're dead.
Well, I mean, because of the Lothep, right? So like.
Oh, not because of Lothep. Yeah, of course.
But you're basically buying one more turn. So we'll see. He's gonna draw. He's running Harrison. We saw that earlier in the deck list, and it's not gonna really come in handy right now. Yeah. All right, so 20 right now, and he will go up in health.
Ray Vitality Totem.
+4 is a pretty big deal. And we're looking at Palmblad's hand or deck right now, and we still have his Dr. Boom, we still have his Sylvanas, and another full combo waiting for him somewhere in the deck, and a Sludge Belcher to buy time.
He could draw Zombie Chow too, so.
He's like, all right, well, you gave me a Vitality Totem. Let me give you some health back too.
Yeah.
Tasang has some more options. I mean, man, Dr. Boom.
As awkward as it is, I do think you kind of need to kill off this Vitality Totem. Because every turn, you know, that just pushes him farther and farther away from dying to like a Savage Roar combo.
Yeah,
so.
you have to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Now, what do you, I mean, he's really considering whether he should use Savage Roar to kill it, I think.
Yeah,
with the hero
so
power. And then you can still Azure Drake. But yeah, in that case, you might as well Azure Drake first, see what you draw. And oh wow!
Oh,
now
no.
that makes that choice really tough.
Agony. I think, yeah. I mean, if he has the combo, you're gonna be dead either way, right? So you might as well take the risk, set yourself up for a possible win next turn. Is it though? Actually, because 4 more health, so 27.
You have 14,
so
and then
14,
26. So you have enough, but there's the Sludge Belcher. You have to put that down, and I think you use everything to just clear the board here.
Seems pretty reasonable.
Wow. Well, okay, so the Black Knight is here.
He is.
He's here to save the day, kind of.
Does he make a big difference?
Well, not after the +4 heal. Oh, actually, you're right. He wouldn't have lethal because of the +4 heal. I didn't take that into account.
Right, yeah. I believe he would have been like 1 or 2 short.
Yeah, 1 short. Yeah. You're right. 26 would not have been enough.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of was thinking he goes for the Vitality Totem anyway, because, like I said, if your opponent has a combo, you're dead whether or not his 5/5 is up, right?
Yeah.
So
Palmblad's going to be back at 30 health, man. Because I think in Tasang's shoes, you have to just kill the Sludge, and then you have to kill Harrison. Oh, Vitality Totem.
Still could.
All right, do you just
win for Tasang though?
Yeah, do you just kill the totem here because you're dead to the combo anyway because the Vitality Totem gets +2.
Well, we have the same situation that we did last turn, right? Which is why I was saying kill the totem last turn.
No, that's what I was thinking too last turn.
So
I was a little surprised he went for the Ancient of the Lord.
I'll say the same thing that I did last turn. You should probably kill the totem.
All right, well, he made the choice this time, and
there's that Zombie
for
Chow.
him.
Yeah, I mean, Palmblad has a little bit of health to work with here.
But the Zombie Chow doesn't really help clear anything at this point, right? That's the bigger deal.
Well, no, you don't. I don't think you play the Zombie Chow. Let's see, because again, you are dead to the combo no matter what happens, and when you are dead to the combo no matter what happens, you go face. Because if they don't have the combo, then you have a chance to draw into something that might.
Well, Palmblad's not dead to the combo if he kills something here. Because he's at 30 with the Keeper of the Grove, so he could actually just kill the Keeper of the Grove if he wanted to. But oh boy, I think you get rid of the Keeper because it's 26 if I did my math right. Because it's 14 with the combo, +6, so 26.
Well, your Harrison goes farther if you kill the Keeper.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, and I guess he is a little bit short still.
Yeah, he's still too short, it seems.
It would be 14 plus 12, right? Yeah, so 26.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe you're just Dr. Boom and Wrath, man.
Yeah, Wrath the zombie chow to get a little bit of life back.
Well, I think you just Wrath the Harrison and run one of your minions into this.
Oh yeah,
chow,
of course.
because you'll have the full combo ready anyway. So. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, because of the cycle too. So that's what I was thinking. Now go for the heal with the Black Knight. He needs to have more health. There you go. Now that's chances are it's pretty much game over. Because now you can kill off everything too, and you would still be pretty close. So Palmblad accepting defeat, and Tesang gets the win there. And you know, I think again it's what you've been mentioning quite a few times in a lot of these matchups with the Korean players, is that sometimes they just play too reserved. And Palmblad, again, I mean, sure, we'd have to go back and really see if that would have really changed everything, but it would have made things, I think, a little bit more likely for Palmblad to have a chance to win. And you know, I think 2 or 3 turns you were mentioning.
Well, I was missing a lot of stuff that game, so who knows?
Well, you know, I think you were right in that. That you know, the Druid of the Claw being set out very kind of passively there. It's not, I believe, around like turn 8 or something like that for Palmblad.
Either way, the runner-up from last season down a game to a newcomer here, so makes things interesting anyway. We'll see if Palmblad sticks with his Druid or if he switches over to Warrior or Warlock. Mage and Warlock, the 2 choices for Tesang coming into game number 2 here.
Yeah, we'll see which one Tasseling picks. And Palmblad, which does he predict? Does it really affect what he chooses for set number 2? Let's find out as we jump right into game number 2 of the last match of the round of 16. Looks like the players need a little bit more time to select their classes.
I'm guessing if I know Palmblad, I think we're going to see him stick with the Druid.
I think so too.
He's done that kind of thing a lot in the past.
Yeah,
so.
I think he just tries to get the wins because he looks at it as, well, I have to win with all of them at one point anyway. And I think most people in this lineup for Tasseling, you kind of expect the Warlock to come out last. So at that point, you know, you know what you're going up against at the end. Your class choices probably have at least a 50-50 chance in that matchup. So let's jump right into game number 2.
No, changing things up. Okay, Mage versus Warlock for our second game.
All right, well, what's it gonna be? And oh boy, looks like it's Freeze Mage.
Yeah.
And Handlock.
So that being the case,
Oh, Malagos in the hand for Tesang.
all right, Malagos,
Well, he's got
Freeze
that.
Mage probably. Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looked like it was going to be pretty set on the whole Freeze Mage idea, but Malagos does change things a little bit, especially if you can get a Thorson out with a couple other spells in hand. I mean, you can get a much crazier burst than you would normally expect. But that's the drawback there.
It can be pretty challenging, to say the least, for Handlock to get through to do damage to Freeze Mage. So
that too. So
yeah.
in a matchup that's already pretty tough, we'll see how Malagos affects that.
Now, interestingly enough, Freeze Mage has been very, very popular outside of Korea for a month or 2 now. But I believe this is like the first Freeze Mage we've seen in a while here in Korea. It's generally been mech, and if it's not mech, it's generally been some sort of mid-range. Freeze Mage has not been as popular in the tournament scene in Korea lately.
Yeah, well, we saw the top players use it in the special match, of course, and then season 1 was quite some time ago.
Right.
We'll see. Yeah, this season,
but
right?
so
I mean,
far,
we saw the Major Domo Grinder Mage, of course, from Transit.
Yeah, that's the only one.
But yeah, I do believe that was doing the slower Mage coming in from the Korean scene in season 2.
Yeah, I'm talking specifically Freeze Mage.
Right.
Yeah, we just don't see it as often.
And he's choosing to clear the board here. I want to deal with those. And then he'll still draw another card on turn 4 and then be able to put down his Twilight Drake for the same value.
Yep. You know, by seeing the loot hoarder, it should tell Palmblad that he's not dealing with Mech Mage.
Yeah.
But he should, excuse me, wow, sorry. He should be pretty aware that it's something a bit slower.
Yeah, and the Ice Barrier now on the board for Tesang. We saw that activated through the Mad Scientist. Well, that Twilight Drake is tricky for a mage at 9 health. But if you go for the Doomsayer, it's just only 1 minion you're working with.
Yeah. You really try to get a little bit more value out of the Doomsayer later.
Yeah.
Did we see which secret he got out of that?
Yeah, the
Mad Scientist?
we saw it on our screens. It was
I didn't see it on the side
ice,
one,
yeah, ice block or ice barrier rather.
Oh, okay.
So they're also running Cone of Cold here. So going heavy, very spell heavy. I mean, generally Freeze Mage is, but
well, Cone of Cold can do a lot of damage with Malygos out.
Exactly. I mean, I think
I don't think that.
Well, I mean,
I don't think that's ever happened in Hearthstone.
But I think Tasang's point is, like, if I just get Thorson down with Malygos in hand and a couple other spells, like, I can really run rampant in this game, which is true.
Yeah.
With a Malygos Mage or Malygos anything really.
Well, it's interesting because if you look at Freeze Mage, you don't really have too much trouble doing that without Malygos, and that's why we just don't see it very often, because Malygos doesn't necessarily help you win faster or more effectively with Freeze Mage. It just lets you do more damage with your cheaper spells per se. But Freeze Mage, I mean, you should lock it up until you have a hand that kills him anyway, right?
Yeah. So. Now, Tasang on his turn, the ideal, his original goal was, I'm going to fireball the Drake the next turn. But now with the Thorson there, the choice isn't as easy.
Yeah, I think you have to get rid of Thorson here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to.
It's definitely a pretty big problem.
Wow, okay, he's just going to go and freeze them, and that's going to give Palmblad rather, another big reduction on like 8 cards.
That's pretty nice for handlock.
Yeah. I mean, and his anti-heal bots are going to get reduced a lot.
Right.
He can put down Dr. Boom this turn, too.
And Dr. Boom would certainly put the most pressure on his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, the Blizzard came out, so there's a good chance that can live, but he's choosing.
Oh, are we going to see the life tap after play?
No.
No, just staying at 22.
All right. And now the anti-kill bots are 3 and 4. He's got Watchers for 0. Free Watchers, everyone.
Not bad.
Now,
let's see. So 7 mana. Yeah, this. He's seen what he draws, but this might be a Frost Nova Doomsayer turn. We'll see. Oh, there's Thorson.
Well, I mean, he really wants that, but I agree with you. I think you have to deal with this board in some way. And Palmblad will still get the reduction from Thorson again.
Now, you said he's got Ice Barrier right now there?
Yeah.
Ice Barrier in his secret. Okay.
So, I mean, he's good on health.
Yeah.
But the reduction is what, really concerns you. But I think you just have to... You just have to bite the bullet here.
Yeah. Okay, he's going to do that just to sort of clear as much of the board as he can. He's got a lot of direct damage in his hand, though. That's going to become a lot cheaper.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's what Tasang's looking for. He just has to wait.
Yeah, 1 turn's enough.
He just has to wait to the very end. Just has to be very patient, and we could see an explosive combo coming out from the Mage.
Oh, boy. This is certainly getting to start to look a little bit challenging for Palmblad.
Yeah, I mean, because of that Doomsayer, things are a little iffy here.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have any sort of Shadow Flame or anything like that where he can do a bit of damage and then finish it off with his cheaper Hellfire.
Wondering if you should put down the Sludge Belcher because you'll still get the sludges out of it, but...
I think you're going to need to do a lot more damage than that, though.
Yeah... Alright, well... Yeah, Palmblad in deep thought here.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup for handlock, no doubt.
The Sludge Belcher, I mean, he's going to play it. And he's going to, just to get 1 more minion on the board, and also, that leaves his other stuff to be played in much quicker succession in the next turns. Because of the reductions coming in. Now, wow, okay,
Frostbolt.
Holy cow.
Well, you play Thors in this turn.
I think you do.
Yeah. Maybe just hero power your opponent. And let's see. With Malagos coming theoretically next turn, I believe that may actually just be lethal. Let's see. Because Frostbolt would be, you would play Malagos for 8, so you would have 1 mana remaining, 1 mana for Frostbolt, 2 free Ice Lances.
Yeah, 25 damage with spells.
Yeah, that's plenty lethal. So,
that 25 damage.
So that's, I mean, we'll see if the healing comes through this turn, because he does have 2 anti-heal bots that would heal him up by.
I think you have to. Palmblad. Well, I guess. Oh, I guess you don't really always play for the Malagos in Freeze Mage.
Yeah,
right?
you definitely don't. You don't go into Freeze Mage being like, I have to play around the Malagos.
I have to prepare for the 25 damage combo on turn 9.
Yeah, Palmblad, he may be aware of what deck his opponent is playing today. We don't know what sort of practice situations happen for these guys, but
until they might have had.
Generally, Malagos is a bit of a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if you see it in other tournaments, and we've seen people play like Malagos Shaman in other tournaments and whatnot, but it's never something you like really count on, right?
Well, it's out there. It's just not common. It's it's like Dragon Control Warrior. You see a lot of Control Warrior. Once in a while, you see Dragon Control, but it's not something you really expect.
Oh man, he's gonna go for the clear and then the heal.
No, he's gonna go for the clear and then the Dr. Boom, I think. No, he is going for the heal. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he can put all of them down thanks to Emperor Thorison, but he's still dead.
True. Yep.
Oh wow, Tasseling with the well played.
Oh boy.
Palmblad's like,
let's see the reaction
what do you
when
mean?
Malagos hits the board. And he's like, oh man.
Pretty much his own medicine used against him.
That's the thing, is I feel like this is I don't know if how planned this was, but Tasseling so far really having the exact decks to
he looks really calm and collected too. I think Tasseling came in with a really just set plan on his own terms for the round of 16, and Palmblad, the runner-up of Season 1, is currently down 0-2.
Yeah, and no matter what Warlock deck Tasseling has, he's got a really solid chance to take a game off of Warrior, Druid, or Warlock.
If he brought Handlock and the Warrior's Patron Warrior for Palmblad, that's going to be a tough climb back for him, even if he can get there. But we'll have to find out after commercial break, of course. I mean, really good, really well played by Tasseling, and the deck preparation, of course, playing a big role there and kind of giving a nod to Palmblad himself after his performance with the Inner Fire Priest in Season 1. Just before, Palmblad looks a little shaken up, but he still has all 3 decks to use in his arsenal. Tasseling only having that Warlock left. So we'll be back after this break to see if Palmblad can reverse sweep in the last match. Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Masters Korea Season 2, and we are waiting on a game that could actually end with a 3-0 against the runner-up of Season 1 here in the round of 16.
Yeah, that'd be pretty shocking to see Palmblad get taken out 3-0 by Tesang, but Tasseling showing that he's no slouch in terms of preparing for matches, in terms of playing out his decks, and he is up 2-0 right now. Now, we've seen this before. I mean, yesterday, both series, one player was up 2-0. We saw it go back. We saw it go to the 5th game, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, we'll see if Palmblad can collect himself and what Warlock deck comes out from Tasseling in set number 3 as we jump right in.
All right, Warrior. Okay, so a little bit of everything from Palmblad.
I wonder if this actually means that it's Patron.
It is.
Yeah, because I was thinking that, because if it's Patron, you might, because it's going to be tough either way, you might as well try to get a win with it first, and that way you can go into your other games with a little lighter of a heart.
It is. Very quick mulligan from Palmblad, starting off with a couple loot hoarders, so...
Yeah, threw back the Battle Rage, and I think, you know, this is a better hand than he had before.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and the Armor Smith coming out too. Not the end of the world there.
Yeah, you'll probably want to... Ooh, I feel like you do start with the loot hoarders.
Yeah.
If you play the Armor Smith now, you just may not get a lot of benefit from it.
Yeah. Now, again, this is one of the more blatantly tough matchups for Patron Warrior, just because
it's really hard.
How many minions does a handlock have that you can really trigger your own patrons off of? You have to have your own combos, well thought out. You have to be really well prepared for the bigger taunts.
Yeah, and it's hard to be well prepared because you simply need execute. If you don't have execute, you will have a very, very hard time getting through it.
So, Tasseling, I mean, now with double loot hoarder, you definitely know what you're up against. And I think for now, you feel okay. Oh, wow, Shadow Flame too. Hellfire too. Tasseling has quite a few tools already to get him through the early phases.
Well, even with single loot hoarder, you should pretty much know what you're up against with this. But, I mean, Palmblad doing a decent amount of damage early on, actually, with those loot hoarders. But...
No, they did a lot of damage already, so the Hellfire starts to feel a little iffy all of a sudden.
Yeah, but again, all you really need is one taunt with, well, that, but also one taunt with 3 attack, and the combo just oftentimes does not happen. You know, if they don't have execute, you can't really get through that without sacrificing something like a Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, well, if you Hellfire here too, you give 2 draws, 3 armor, and you bring yourself down to 17. So
yep, that is tricky.
Like it's a pretty big trade-off. So he's actually just going to choose to draw and just silence one. Okay. All right. Just putting something on there, and of course this now. Now Palmblad, I mean, he's got quite a few things set up for the future. He's got the Commander, he's got the Taskmaster, Inner Rage, Acolyte.
Great draw.
Ooh, okay, just gonna go ahead and use Inner Rage to get another draw. Just making sure he has his options. Okay, the Axe not as inspiring in this matchup, but...
And how much do you actually want to attack here? That's a tricky part, because you've got the Warsong Commander in your hand right now.
Yeah.
And so if you can draw into, you know, good Grim Patron turn, if you can draw into a Frothing Berserker, you might be able to burst him down.
Alright, well, yeah, just choosing for the Twilight Drake. I mean, he had the Heal Bot too and a couple other options, but choosing to put that there, that, of course, the biggest thing here is the Shadow Flame that can come out from that. Is going to allow you to clear without doing damage to yourself.
Well, it's certainly nice to see that Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, that's really good, because that can really help you kind of overcome that greater burst you need. And wow, okay, Thoris in there too. And he can clear this board. He's got enough armor, so he's not going to take any more damage.
Yep. That's right. So he manages to keep the Armor Smith alive as well too. So the Armor Smith, yeah, has been getting a lot of value for him. And again, you know, 2 Frothing Berserkers. He's got the Warsong Commander. If he gets a little bit of AoE after the Thor is in, this could work out.
Yeah, in the previous turn, though, I think Palmblad could have hit with the Axe first, because he'd still be at the same effective health, but then he'd have more draw from Battle Rage. in the future. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that really kind of changed how you think about the armor in the Warrior matchup, is that now you actually want to, maybe attack first and whatnot.
If you have a really slow starting hand versus Druid too, sometimes you just don't armor up.
Yeah.
You want them to hit you with their hero power, and then they have to decide if they want to actually hit you with the hero power.
Exactly.
It gets interesting, for sure.
All right, well, Thorson coming out for Tasang. Lots of cards being reduced, and he's got quite a few AoE. He also has some Power Overwhelming in there, too. Mountain Giant now there, too. So Tasang starting to feel a little more comfortable.
I would say so, yeah, because now we've got Thorson coming out. The combo is getting pretty cheap now.
Yeah, so Palmblad has his terms also laid out, but Tasang now, you've got that 2-mana Mountain Giant.
Yeah.
You've got the Sunfury Protector and the Defender of Argus, but that Thorson is a bit of a thorn in your side.
Yes, it is.
Huh.
I mean, the thing is that if you get one turn with Thorson with Patron Warrior, you've pretty much made everything you need cheap enough that you can go off with some pretty crazy combos. So, more Thorson turns is kind of just icing on the cake, basically. I think Tesang, knowing that he's at 18 health, going into a 7-mana turn with that many cards in the hand for a Warrior, it's kind of like playing against Miracle Rogue back in the day, where there's a good chance, or at least a part of a chance, that they have the opportunity to just burst you down.
Right. Well, what do you prioritize here? Do you prioritize clearing the board, or do you prioritize, maybe just using Siphon Soul to get some shield back while getting rid of 5 damage? That also doesn't give him more armor. But then you have nothing to block with, right? You could also just put out taunts. It's pretty tricky, and he's gonna choose to go with the Siphon Soul. Okay, so 21. Now let's look at what Palmblad has.
He draws a Whirlwind. Okay. No Whirlwind yet.
Well, okay. So he doesn't have any super crazy play here, because he still can't put down the Berserkers on top of the Grim Patron.
He could just...
Oh, okay, yeah.
He could just Battle Raise, but...
okay, well, that's a good card
that's
to
nice
get early on.
Yeah.
Do you put down, like, one Berserker?
I really think you're going to want to keep both of those.
Both for the full combo effect.
Because, I mean, yeah, if you can get 2 Berserkers and they each get +5 damage, and suddenly you've got 14 coming in from that. And
so now you're leaving your options open for both a full Berserker combo, and then on the other side, maybe a full Patron combo. So one or the other, usually.
I think generally in these types of situations, the Frothing Berserkers end up being more valuable than the Grim Patrons.
Because they can offer just more burst in one turn.
Yeah, they just simply do more damage.
But, well, Palmblad choosing to put one out and then armor up.
Yeah. I think the reason here is that if you only have one minion out, then you run the risk of not having anything the next turn to activate your execute, to let your minions through. Whereas if you have 2 out, then you've got a fairly decent chance to have something to run into it to get the execute down. And this way, too, with the Frothing Berserker down, if it lives, then that means he can do the Grim Patron and the Frothing Berserker together.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and have 2 of them out. So potentially massive damage coming in from Palmblad next turn if this isn't dealt with, especially if he draws into like some sort of AoE or something.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Tesang, now that Mountain Giant is only 2 mana. You have a Sunfury Protector who's only 1 mana, or a Defender with 3. And you have an anti-heal bot. So you can put down the Giant, the heal bot, and a taunt with the Sunfury Protector.
Yeah, with no AoE being drawn by Palmblad, he'd be able to do, I believe, 15 damage with everything in his hand. So it wouldn't be enough to kill his opponent, so he still needs a little bit more. I mean, I suppose if he gets his opponent really low and then saves the execute, he can execute and then run Gromash possibly, but no, he wouldn't have an activator, so...
Right, yeah, he'd have to use Living Rage there, so no way for a kill yet, and definitely no way for a kill this turn for Palmblad. Now some tough choices to be made. Alright, Harrison Jones. Now still no Whirlwind, which is really what's...
No Death Spite, too, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, like you said, no AoE activators here.
Oh, so he's running double Dread Corsair. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, double Dread Corsair. Double Inner Rage. No Sludge Belcher, no Wish Inventor, or anything. No Doctor Who.
just going straight. I mean, his deck is really just built for the optimization of the combo. And, all right, just putting Harrison out there. Something that can take more damage for a Berserker play on the next turns. Now, this Berserker on the board will get dealt with in multiple different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, you've got the Ancient Watcher, too, for the Shadow Flame. But then, you know, obviously that with the taunt is also really helpful now that you saw one execute come out.
Being back up to 28 health now, Tesang isn't.
Yeah, I mean, you've got so many different options.
Yeah, he's not going to be as worried.
You could run in and Hellfire, too, actually, this turn. And then just put down, you know, a Watcher and see where things go. You could obviously draw before you do all that and see if that changes how you want to go about things. Yeah, so life tap, I think is good. Okay, second Shadow Flame, that's great. So does this compel him to use one? Personally, I'm a little bit more favorable for the Hellfire here, just because I think the Ancient Watcher has...
I kind of like the Shadow Flame right here, because playing against a Grim Patron deck, if they do decide to just have a turn where they try to flood the board and go off, then you have a way to clear the board without having to have any minions of your own already out there. So,
well, that's true.
So
well,
I think it's safer to save the health.
Well, I was thinking that you just save the Ancient Watcher, Shadow Flame for those turns, but then you also have that for the taunt. Because now
it's just
the
more
Sun Fury
you know?
is here for an activator. Not that it changes too much, given what's in Palmblad's hand.
If there's a big Grim Patron turn, that Sun Fury would be gone, because it'd be used to get more Grim Patrons.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I mean, is that Palmblad has that activator. But like you mentioned, either way, you can still clear it with the Hellfire, so...
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
How does Palmblad win this?
I think this is the point in time where you have to just sort of go for it and take a bit of a risk. We'll see if he decides to go with it. I mean, you could, let's see, how much damage would you do if you went for the patrons? You would put one down, play it, get the second one. Inner Rage, so 5, you would do 8 damage.
And
that would bring him down to...
Berserker can do 4, or 5 also. So you can do 13.
Yes.
Okay, so he's choosing to just go with
Okay. All right.
Because now this sets him up for a potential lethal, depending on what he draws. Now, Tesang can steal this.
Yep, he certainly can. Power overwhelming Sylvanas.
Yeah, you can. I mean, again, you also have another Shadow Flame with like a Dr. Boom or something. You've got the Dart Bombs. I mean, again,
I kind of like that. I kind of like that, honestly, because
the steal?
Yeah, I like it because you know you might bait out the second execute, then your Giants are safe. There's really not a good way for Patron Warrior to clear a 10-7 other than that.
That's true.
So you would need like a Frothing Berserker or something, you know. So it's kind of win-win. If they use their second execute, great. Executes are gone, your Giants are safe. If they don't, then you have a 10-7 out on the board that they are going to need to get to dedicate pretty much everything in their hand minion-wise to deal with. So
yeah, I'm actually...
It's a bit funny, but I really don't see a downside to stealing this
I think you go with it. Because the Dr. Boom is iffy, right? Because again, you have the Boom bots who will be activators for not only the Berserker, but also the Patrons.
And with this event, I think this more or less locks it up in terms of Tesang 3-0ing Palmblad.
I think so.
As surprising as that is, as surprising as our runner-up from last season going down the round of 16. And drawing that second Grim Patron without having any AoE doesn't really do Palmblad any favors. So he's not dead yet, but man, it's...
I mean, but you either choose to just secure your death in later turns by using everything to kill this Grommash.
Well, you don't have a way to do enough damage. You don't have a way to get enough armor to sustain. It's just one of those agonizing games with Grim Patron where it's a hard matchup anyway, but you're not even getting the tools to give it a real try, you know?
Man, so rough. And Palmblad was being so patient with it, too. I mean, he was really waiting. And if he had just drawn the AoE earlier, he could have had a chance to at least pressure Tesang to not have as comfortable as a game.
I feel like with Patron Warrior versus Handlock, you kind of just have to, at some point, just throw as much as you can at them and be like, well, hopefully they don't have what they need to stop this. Hopefully they don't have the blocking. Hopefully they don't have the AoE.
I mean, again,
usually they do, but
yeah, I
you know,
mean,
it's the only way you can win with Patron Warrior.
Like you
in
said,
this matchup.
Again, it's just one of those matchups where it's pretty blatantly one-sided, and you just need a really good chance, or that you need your dream hand, and you need them to have like their nightmare hand to secure a win.
I like Palmblad's turn because he's done everything he can to potentially give himself the win. If no taunts come out, if those minions survive, and if he draws into AoE,
yeah,
he could potentially have enough damage to do it.
Absolutely.
But Tasseling should, he should realize this, and he's got ways to deal with it. He can do it a few different ways. He can, BGH, Shadow Flame. He can just simply attack in.
You can't BGH though, because you'd have to kill your own Grommash.
Oh, does it have to?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a target on the
right,
board,
yeah.
you have to. Yeah.
See, why I'm like messing up so much stuff tonight.
Well, I
really
only know that because I do that every time I play. I'm like,
No,
oh shoot, I can't play it anymore. I do it to myself every time.
My brain is just off tonight.
So that's why I know that for sure. And oh man, the commander
it.
is not what he was looking for. I think that's game. I mean, not like necessarily next turn, but
Yeah, well, it may not be lethal, but when that Grommash got stolen, that was kind of the end of the road for Palmblad.
yeah.
Yep, 2 Death Spite, 2 Dread Corsairs remaining. And yeah, 2 Whirlwinds. That's a
Oh, wow.
that is so rough for
Wow.
Palmblad. Oh man. That actually is really
Yeah.
really rotten.
And he
for
got
him.
the double loot hoarder too. I mean, sure, one of them got silenced, but
That poor guy. Just want to give him I want to go in that booth and give him a hug, man. That is a tough game. This is a tough game to get knocked out of the tournament with.
wow. So you know what's funny is that Tasseling currently has 22 damage from the board, and then he can Hellfire for 25, and then the boom bots can do 8 more, and that'd be 32, which would not be enough yet. But if he drew something else, okay. Well, the rag does a lot of damage, but it's not something you can combo.
Well,
with.
the turns from here on out are a victory lap for Tasseling, man. He's going
Wow,
to the round of 8.
Palmblad. No, I love Palmblad. I like this guy. He's also very nice, very modest, very nice guy.
He's very out of this tournament.
I'm just gonna go ahead and show my bias because he's out now. It's just gonna show my true colors though.
Well, I think Tasseling played well. I think he had really good decks, specifically against what Palmblad brought today.
Man, I hope, as much as I love Palmblad, I hope in the interview Tasseling's like, well, I took a page out of Palmblad's book, and I figured.
Oh, he's gonna go for it.
Wait, really? No, I mean, you have the rag.
If it was like a 2-mana Hellfire and you could play rag afterwards.
Yeah.
He's just styling on him now.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude, that just happened.
Wow. Well, okay, now the style was worth it because you pretty much did like the most.
Yep.
Wow, you see him like blowing on his hand. He's like, that's right. Oh, there's the Death Spite.
I would be
man.
I'd be so angry.
Oh man.
Palmblad.
Wow.
Poor guy.
So you can get rid of the board. You can actually get rid of the board though because of this. Tasseling, I think. I mean, it's still, yeah. I mean, Tasseling still should have because you've got the Big Game Hunter and the Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
But he can't style anymore.
Yeah,
I think he should have ragged less.
I think he styled a little bit too much there.
Yeah. Well, granted,
still
the
gonna-
boom bots would have been activators too, so
He still, he still should win it, but
yeah. In fact, I mean, the styling by being able to put down the Defender of Argus to styling, he had a little bit of a backup plan there, but I think you just Big Game Hunter Shadow Flame here, because how is he gonna come back from that?
yeah, because Grommash is gone.
Although
if he has AoE, if he has another Frothing Berserker, no way to use both. So
yeah.
yeah, no, he wouldn't. Shouldn't be able
And he
to
used
do
both
that much
patrons
damage.
too, so Tasseling should really just clear. That's be the most secure way. Although I don't know if. Oh, so he's just gonna use this. Okay.
Same effect plus he gets on.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Palmblad. Oh well. Okay.
This is hilarious.
this is funny that this game is still going.
It's kind of sad in a way.
I mean, Tesang
He can run in for 3 damage here, and he can get 2 more armor.
Wow, if Palmblad goes back from this, I have no regrets in showing my true colors, man. This is what Tasseling gets for going for the big style points.
All right. Well.
Okay, so you have 9 damage for Palmblad. If he draws a second Druid Corsair, he has 12 damage.
You got to play Ragnaros here, but that means you can't play. No, because you
got to play Rag.
I think low type's more important actually, because you prevent.
Does he have another
actually,
inner range?
Does he have another Grim Page?
No, he doesn't have another Grim Page.
Okay, no more Grim Page, no more Frothing Berserkers. That's right then. Ooh,
Okay.
see what he draws into though.
Okay, yeah, he can draw from this.
Yeah.
With the Despite,
if he draws into another weapon, like another Despite, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. I mean, then it's really up to the Rag hits here. Oh, man.
Yeah, do it again. Draw into an execute. Kill Ragnaros. Draw into an execute. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Do it again.
Wait, yeah. Shouldn't you do it again for the execute? He has a second execute, right? Oh, but then he would only have 1 minion on board.
Yeah.
So Palmblad's leaving it to increase his chances of not dying to Rag. So, okay.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Never mind. Yeah, well, you would have no minions.
Yeah, but here's the Sludge Belcher. So. Oh, yeah, because your commander was also at 1 health. Oh, man.
Well, that was pretty silly at the end there. But Tasseling gets a 3-0.
Wow.
After showing us that even if you're way ahead, if you do foolish things, you can give yourself a chance to lose. But
Palmblad would have been such a hero, especially after his season 1 performance. If he came back from that, even if it was Tasseling's fault, the crowd would have gone wild, man. Kind of sad we didn't get to see that, but wow, what a rough day for Palmblad.
I know, right? And it's just like, oh man, that poor guy. Because then your opponent gets kind of goofy at the end.
Well, I mean, but you know, I mean that hurts your ego a little bit, but at the same time, you got to give credit for the Malygos Mage. The handlock, you know, coming out, and I do think if you're playing against Palmblad, you suspect that he might bring Page Warrior. He likes a little bit more of those ways to, you know, counteract your opponents and catch them off guard. So I think Tasseling just came well prepared. So I think Palmblad does have to give him the nod here. But wow, rough day. Ladies and gentlemen, here's how you become a bandwagoner. Now you just go all out on the Tasseling bandwagon.
Do you really?
I'm not going to. And Tasseling saying, well, I was just actually super nervous. And I thought it was going to be such a hard match coming in because it was a runner-up from last season, but I just really glad I came out with the win. 3-0 at that.
Yeah, what do you know?
Well done. No, I am interested because he did have some good preparation. He had some good plays, so we'll see what else he prepares in the quarterfinals, but let's see. Wow, okay, so Tasseling saying, yeah, in the second match, if my Mage had run into his Warrior, then obviously chances are I wouldn't have won, even, you know, with that deck, just because of the matchup. But when I saw he chose Warlock, I thought I would actually just get the 3-0 there because I knew I could win against the Warlock. And especially the Mage, not a deck that I've actually played that much of. Generally, I play a lot of just very aggressive decks, you know, like Face Hunter, Zoo, things like that. But on Saturday, where I had to submit my decks, I just submitted the Mage, and then I practiced it really hard for 3 days. And, you know, a couple other players that are really well known in the community for just their deck building. They really helped me kind of fine-tune my decks before and just help practice against that multiple times. And here we go. I mean, the 25 damage burst coming in from Malygos after that reduction.
It's a lot to deal with, that's for sure. Malygos certainly helping out a lot. I mean, that's a pretty ideal hand for Freeze Mage even without Malygos for Tasseling, but he was able to end it pretty quick that way.
Yeah, and, you know, Palmblad tried to do what he could, but it just was not enough. And
Palmblad's face being like, well, how is it well played? Oh, no.
Aw.
See what you did to Palmblad, Tasseling. See what you did to him.
You broke him, man.
Yep.
No. And Tasseling saying, yeah, well, you know, I thought Palmblad would bring out a hand. Wow, you know how ironic this is? He says, I thought Palmblad would bring out a Giant, the handlock, so that's why I prepared a Freeze Mage. And that's what Palmblad did to Rainy Hour. He thought he would bring out a handlock, so he brought out the Inner Fire Priest.
So the moral of the story is just don't play handlock in the first round of this tournament.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And his tip for the matchup is, well, if Giants come out, you can just freeze them. That's why it's called Freeze Mage. So
that is the best advice I've ever heard.
You know, you just gotta stay true to your colors.
If you're playing Freeze Mage, freeze their minions.
Yeah, you know, if you're playing Murloc Druid, play those Murlocs.
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta do what you've prepared. So congratulations to Tasseling. A big upset, really. I mean, you saw the fan votes going heavily in favor to Palmblad, and let's see Tasseling. What's he looking forward to in this tournament? How far does he want to go? Now, I thought the round of 16 would be the hardest, especially after finding out my opponent was Palmblad. But now with the quarterfinals being double elimination, I think that I have a really good chance to make it to the semifinals, because the round of 16 being single elimination, I was a little worried.
Yeah.
But the quarterfinals being double elimination, I think I have a really good chance. And he's trying to be modest, but so he keeps saying, like, well, I think the stronger players that moved on are actually in Group A of the quarterfinals, and I'm in Group B. So again, I think double elimination really favors me. Basically saying, I think I have the easier group. I mean, what are the chances I lose to 2 people in this group? Well, we'll find out in 2 weeks' time. Tasseling Group B being played in 2 weeks. Next week, of course, will be the Group A of the quarterfinals. But we're not done yet, of course. We do have our 2 winners of the day preparing. Coco and Tasseling preparing to open some packs to give away more packs to our fans here in Korea. But what a day. I mean, wow, Palmblad being taken out.
Yeah,
3-0.
huge upset, man. I mean, I don't think a lot of people expected him to be taken out. Certainly not 3-0, but that's what happens, man. At best of 5, if you have good decks, if you have good draws, it does happen. And Tasseling played well too. You know, you can't take away anything from this guy. He planned things out really well. He came practiced, came prepared, and yeah, well-deserved 3-0.
I do agree. Pretty excited to see now how far he goes, especially just after he's made such a big splash by taking on Palmblad. But you know, I have to agree. I mean, I agree with Tasseling. He wasn't trying to downplay the other players in his group, but when you look at Group A of the quarterfinals, as we watch them opening these packs, it's going to be, we'll review this later too, but Siho, Miracle, Dawn, and Surrender. I mean, that is a packed lineup for the first half of the quarterfinals. So
it's a pretty great round of 8.
Yeah, and Tasseling, if things go as people might expect, maybe he'll have a chance to play against Rainy Hour in the quarterfinals in his group, but that will be in 2 weeks' time. For now, the McGurgler explaining that they will be opening packs, and depending on how many cool cards they open, we will raffle out some extra packs to be given out to fans of Hearthstone here in Korea.
Had 100 extra yesterday.
100 extra, I mean,
it's a lot.
A lot of packs. And so that went out to 3 people in the studio and 3 people watching from home. So we got 600 packs yesterday.
In Korea.
In Korea, yes. But
not for you guys, sorry.
Wow.
Not for us either, though.
No. Well, hey, some of our viewers might be watching from Korea, maybe.
That's true. Maybe, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. So, maybe. But it's really nice to, you know, this really obviously is helping flourish the Korean community quite a bit. Had a bit of a slower start out here because Korea not as used to the whole card game concept and community, but lots of people playing these days. I mean, even today, actually, coming into the studio for this broadcast, you know, people usually wait outside in the line and make sure they get their tickets to come into the studio and watch. And I see people just like huddled in groups. They came with their friends and they're all playing and they're like looking over each other's shoulders to see what they're playing on ladder and discussing decks and the players coming out today. So,
did the McGurgler open anything good today? She's not really done well at all in the tournament yet.
She opened a golden yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, it was like a golden common, though.
Yeah.
I still remain unimpressed with the McGurgler.
you know, I'm just telling you, man.
Like you said, Jover, you are an 8 out of 10. She's only
Whoa,
5.
9, man.
9? Oh, you're 9.
Let's
Okay.
be very.
Well,
let's just lay out the facts. Wow.
I'm just trying to keep you honest.
Whoa!
Wow, the McGurgler.
She hurt us, man.
Turning things around, dude.
All right, well, if she wants to throw the gauntlet down like that,
we should be careful. She's only standing like 15 feet away from us right now.
Throws her microphone over.
I know, right?
Well, she finally gets a legendary, so the fans are pretty happy.
Best day ever for the McGurgler.
She goes and writes in her diary. Dear diary, I finally opened a legendary for the fans.
That's right. I opened Geblin Megatork today.
Today was a good day. And Coco, he looks. So he just gassed, and McGurgler's like, it's okay. It's okay, Coco. The McGurgler knows how it goes.
She knows how that is, yeah.
Oh no, Coco. Oh, well, it's golden.
Golden rare, all right, not bad.
The fans will spare him today. He has one more chance.
He won't get tarred and feathered as he tries to leave the studio.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, no legendaries. And no goldens. Only one golden.
That vitality totem, though, bringing back some fond memories for Coco there.
Wow. And Tesang, how will he do? Ooh, okay.
Epic.
Rares count, or epics count.
Yeah, goes through so fast.
Yeah. Rares
oh no,
count
hide
too.
your faces. Boring.
Yeah, boring. Please, Tesang.
Tasseling.
We are not entertained. Last pack of the day. Oh, he's switching it up. Not going in a circle anymore. And it's failed him.
Yep.
So only one from each, one special card from each, and different ratings too because of how uncool they were, but still 60 extra being given away.
Yeah, not bad.
Not
Great.
bad at all. Yeah.
Great. Well,
Awesome
that,
for the Crane community.
Yeah, and that concludes our round of 16 here on Hearthstone Masters Korea, and we had a lot of good matches. Today was probably honestly like our weakest day of the round of 16 as far as like match quality goes, I think.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I mean the lineups it was comparable to yesterday because yesterday Arena was also kind of the only big name there. A lot of the other ones, I mean, we had members from Golden Coin and whatnot, but they weren't really known on the tournament scene yet. But today, even in terms of reputation, we had 3 people who were really not well known at all in the Korean community here for Hearthstone.
Yeah.
And then Palmblad, the one that really did have that high profile, gets knocked out 3-0 in the round of 16.
Well, I'll say this: if you guys have not seen the earlier days in the round of 16, definitely go back and watch.
Yeah.
Definitely go back and watch yesterday. The games were really,
Yesterday
really good.
was really fun.
Yeah.
I think Group C and D were pretty fun too. Surrender Transit, we had that Mage Dome and Grinder Mage too. And
Yep.
so the results are out here, but you can still find out how they were played. We had some exciting moments all throughout.
Generally, the left side of the screen was a place to be on to win, apparently, in the round of 16. So
Right.
Socio, Miracle, Dawn, Surrender, Rini Hour, Kojinki, Coco, and Tasseling moving through to the round of 8.
Yeah, but still lots of really high-profile names still coming back. Even though we have players like Surrender who didn't get to come into the Season 1 round of 16, he has a lot of points. He's actually still second in terms of World Championship points in Korea, right behind Socio.
Pretty solid.
So we'll kick things off next week with Group A of the quarterfinals, and then Group B will be coming out against. These are dual tournament, but these are the first matchups we'll see, and then we'll go into the winners matches, losers matches, and then the final matches on the next day. So they'll be split across 2 days, and that's why we start earlier on Mondays next week and the week after.
Yep, 2 hours earlier next Monday, and then the normal time again on Tuesday, because we've got 5 best-of-3s to get through now that we're moving into that round of 8 dual tournament format. And it's going to be fun because essentially it's double elimination. You know, you can't, if you get 3-0 to best-of-5 by Malagos Mage, for example, you have a chance to come back.
Exactly.
So it's a cool format. Yeah, it's fun.
Hey man, Palmblad got his fair share
I
with
guess
a single
so.
elimination last season, so he can't complain too much. But
True
you
enough.
got to feel for the guy. But we'll be back next week on Monday, again, 2 hours earlier than usual, kicking things off with Group A of the quarterfinals. We'll have some fun matches, Socio versus Miracle and Dawn versus Surrender. Very high-profile names kicking things off. So see you guys next week. Chorbandoy here for OGN Hearthstone Masters Korea Season 2.
있습니다.